They're quick and they're very, very active with their hands. And, you know, you give up 30 points off turnovers, it's really, really hard to win a game like that. So give them credit because some of them, they did do a good job on some plays. I don't want to take anything away from them, but there was clearly things that we could have done a much better job on.
Billy, obviously it's just a small sample size, one game, still a work in progress with this thing. But the last couple of minutes when you guys are trying to fight, get back in, you have all the starters in there except for Pat. You have Io in there instead of Pat, and then, you know, Ingram still has a couple key baskets.
Yep.
He sealed Zach on one, and was it just you didn't like what you were seeing from Pat, or was there something that you decided matchup-wise, maybe Io was the best?
No, I don't think it had anything really to do with Patrick or the matchup part. I mean, we're going to have, you know, matchup difficulties on some of those plays. We were switching some of those situations, so it wouldn't necessarily always been Patrick on him. I just felt like we're playing from behind. I wanted to put 4 guards out there, try to open up the floor and drive and kick and maybe get some momentum and some energy offensively. We did have so many turnovers. Not that Patrick was the concern on the turnovers, but wanted to get more primary ball handlers out there and hoping we could make some better decisions and generate shots and maybe get a thrust offensively.
And then following up that, just in general, I mean, obviously a lot's been put on Pat's plate as far as that kind of stopper for a wing, an opposing wing. But at some point, one of these guards has to put their feet in the sand and say, you know, I've got this guy. I think Kobe had a couple instances in the first half where he got matched up with Ingram. It was pretty physical with him. Josh had him a couple times. Are you seeing one guy kind of step up of these guards and taking that on, or is it? I mean, you can sit there and say, yeah, it's got to be a team effort, but
no, that's
you need a guy to do it.
No, that was clearly, you know, I mentioned the offense. That was the other issue was the physicality of going through us, you know, and you know I get it. Patrick's a good defender, but it wasn't only him. It was DeJounte Murray driving to the rim. It was all of them. You know what I mean? And we've got to be better physically. I think what happens is you know, for every team, there's a formula that you have to do to win with your team. You know, we can't turn the ball over. We cannot get dominated the way we did on loose balls. Like, I didn't think we came up with nearly enough. Can we get all of them? Probably not, but we need to get you know, at least close to 50-50. And then the other part of it was what you mentioned. We're going to have to play with some more physicality because we are undersized in a way. And you can sit there and say, well, if you're undersized, why are you playing Patrick? Well, it wasn't only Patrick, you know what I mean, in terms of it was our whole team. There was things that he can do better. Josh can do better, Zach, Kobe, all of us, we as a coaching staff, there's all things that we can do better to resolve some of those things. And the physicality part of it, the rebounding part, you know, I think our guys saw that in the preseason, playing against Cleveland twice, in Milwaukee, Minnesota, those bigger teams that we have to rebound. But, you know, to your point, Patrick can't stop 5 guys, you know, and we're going to have to do it as a team, and there's going to have to be, quote unquote, as you mentioned, some individual pride.
Billy, the turnovers will skew a lot from this game, but I'm curious what you thought of the defense that your team played and just how they were rotating in the positions, things like that, the basics that you all teach.
Yeah, I mean, I think the zone helped us get back in the game there a little bit. I thought we did a good job in the zone. I think we had some game plan breakdown, you know, on some screening actions of what we wanted to do. There was some things that we wanted to switch that we didn't switch correctly, and some things we didn't want to switch. There was some breakdowns there. I thought our guys rotated. I think to what Joe said, I mean, some of it was just straight down putting their head down against anybody and going to the rim. You know, and at some point you have to hold your ground. You know, and that's for everybody, even in transition. You know, they're coming right at it, whether it's Javonte Green, you know, Hawkins, Murray, Ingram, McCollum. I mean, it didn't make a difference. You know, I mean, they were all coming downhill.
Lonzo checked into the game. It's obviously a road game, but there wasn't a whole big deal. It just kind of came into the game there in a minute there. Are you happy, and do you feel like you kind of wanted him to just kind of get back into a rhythm of playing basketball, and just what you think of him?
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was good. I probably on one stint I couldn't get a stoppage play. I didn't want to burn a timeout, and he probably went a little bit longer than expected in the 4 minutes. I think we were pressed up right against maybe 14 minutes or so, or 15. I held a couple minutes there. I wanted to wait and see what happened in the fourth, whether or not I was going to put him back in. But I didn't think it was necessary with where the game was going to waste, you know, the extra 2 minutes, 3 minutes that we had in his minutes.
thinking about the communication. It looked like they were inside there trying to.
Yeah, no, I liked it. I thought they were really trying to communicate. I think the biggest thing for us is I think you saw the end result on defense, on plays, meaning the ball being driven to the basket or the ball on top of the rim. The issue is at the point of the screen. Like, we have got to be better at the point of the screen. And like I think there was one play where you mentioned, Joe, like Ingram sealed, they threw it to him and he dunked it. You know, then the very next play they come back to it and we add more physicality. Vooch is up there jamming stuff up. You know, we're in there and then he tries to take a fadeaway and we block it from behind. And then one we came down and we double teamed him and he turned to the baseline on a double team and he made it. Like, you can live with that stuff. That other stuff you can't live with. You know what I mean? And it's for everybody. We all got to find ways to kind of hold our ground in those situations there. And when I thought there was, you know, I'm using the Ingram situation just because I think Joe had mentioned it, but there was enough situations throughout the course of the game that you could look at a lot of those kind of plays where we're going to have to hold our ground physically.
Is that true also for, like, I mean, Missy was getting a bunch of lobs and just kind of like beating literally Vooch, kind of dropping back a little bit?
Yeah, no, the backside help's got to be there too. You know, we're going to have to put our nose in play. We cannot turn the ball over. I like some of the things that we did offensively, we're trying to do. But the inconsistency on offense was really predicated on the number of turnovers that we had. And I mean, like, you go into a game saying, listen, you're going to give up 30 points off your turnovers. You're going to sit there and say, well, it's going to be really, really hard to win. We better either get to the free throw line a whole lot or, you know, make a bunch of threes. So, I mean, that was just a huge part of the game.
You and I had one more just about the rotation. You said you wanted to go with 10, you know, Modest. Was that just to get him a look?
I think we got to help Modest in situations, you know, just to try to get his feet wet, give him experience, you know, let him go and play. There is a log jam there, quite honestly, you know, with Modest and Patrick and Julian. You know, all three of those guys have done a really, really good job. So there's going to have to be some sacrifice. We've talked about, you know, playing some of those guys together, two of the three together at times, but sometimes the matchups on the floor don't dictate that. Like, I think you saw a couple times Modest got cross-matched with Ingram a lot. You wouldn't want to throw him in a game to have him do that, although he needs to learn. But there's things that you know, he can catch up on and learn. I think just trying to give him some minutes, although they were very, very limited, you know, in terms of the first half and through three quarters. You know, he got in at the end. We took everybody out of the game.
Less was Josh's first game, first regular season.
Yeah, I mean, I think Josh played well. I thought our guys played well. I don't want to say that it was the turnovers, it was those kind of mistakes. It was some of the stuff defensively. We got to hold our ground. I think at the point of screens, we've got to be better, whether it's back screens or ball screens. We've got to be better at the point of screens. It's got to be more physicality. I thought offensively he did a good job. You got downhill, got to the rim. I thought he generated some looks for our guys. You know, we got to the free throw line. It's just, I think all of us collectively, defensively, have got to get better.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.